All right, folks, buckle up, because we are witnessing the mainstream media's panic mode in real time. You're watching GB News, the only place actually giving these people a fair shake. And what we have here is a textbook example of the establishment trying to strangle a political movement in the crib. The target is Layla Cunningham, a rising star in Reform UK, and the weapon of choice is the Daily Mirror, a paper that hasn't been relevant since the miners' strike. They can't attack Reform on policy because, let's face it, the public actually agrees that London is a crime-ridden mess. So what do? They go for the hit job. They dig through bins, they scour anonymous Reddit threads, and they try to destroy the character of anyone daring to challenge Sadiq Khan's disastrous reign. Watch how Jonathan, the panellist here, absolutely dismantles the absurdity of these scandals.
Up to my panel, Jonathan being the other former MP on the panel here. You've got a bit of experience of being in the spotlight. What's your experience of headlines being written about you, articles written about you? Is there a lot of truth behind them? Is there a lot of speculation, a lot of twisting of the narrative, in your opinion?
I mean, it's amazing. I think I've seen a story once written about alleging to be someone who'd spoken to an alleged pupil that I once taught about me giving a detention to someone for photoshopping my face onto a seagull, but it was picked up via Reddit through an anonymous account, but that now apparently classifies as news, which is just completely absurd, because simply I can't say, I can't rule it out, because guess what, in the 8 years I was a state secondary school teacher, I can't remember every detention I ever issued in my time. I've obviously even had ridiculous stories where my first meeting with a Reform UK branch, that was in the Stoke Sentinel headline thing. I mean, it is a political smear campaign against Layla. She's a rising star within the Reform UK movement, a rising star within the political scene. She's going to be a fantastic mayor of London, and it's just a downright disgrace that, the crime on the second article is to pose for a photo with someone. I mean, if that's the standard we're holding everyone's going to be wanting to delete Instagram instantly or Facebook, every politician. I mean, what I'd like the Mirror to focus on is the fact that sexual offences are a record high under Mayor Khan with 27,000 cases. The fact that there's 11 shoplifting incidents happening every hour, and that with knife crime, we've seen an increase of nearly 72% since Mayor Khan came into power. Why is the Mirror not focusing on the fact that these streets are so unsafe, people are moving out of London, rather than just these ridiculous smears?
Boom. That is the only point that matters. Jonathan hits the nail right on the head. You have to laugh at the absolute state of British journalism when anonymous Reddit user claims teacher gave a detention is treated as front page news, but a 72% increase in knife crime under Sadiq Khan is treated like just another day at the office. This is the distraction game. The legacy media acts as a protection racket for the Labour Party. They know Khan has failed on every single metric. Sexual offences are up, shoplifting is effectively decriminalised, and the ULEZ expansion is bleeding working people dry. They cannot defend that record, it is indefensible. So instead of holding the mayor to account for the blood on the streets, they are trying to cancel a woman for allegedly standing next to the wrong person in a photograph, or for doing her job as a teacher years ago. It's not just bias, it's an active attempt to disenfranchise voters by destroying the opposition before the race even starts. They don't care about standards, they care about maintaining power.
Alex, just quickly, they're so focused on it. I'm solely focused on fixing crime and fighting crime. And they're so focused on attacking me, not on the people causing the crime or the people letting crime happen. That just shows where their priorities lie.
OK, yeah. Paul, what do you make of this left-wing press here? Do you think this is a ridiculous headline? Do you disagree with it? Do you think it's fair to drag people's past out to portray a picture of them? What do you think? And Keir Starmer obviously stopped a second Levinson inquiry, hasn't committed himself to doing it. Do you think we need to have higher standards for the press?
Well, I do believe in high journalistic standards, and if the standard is that anyone had a photograph with anyone else who's got a dodgy past, then we're all of us, I think, going to be guilty of that. So
but I must defend him, sorry, he doesn't have a dodgy past. He was exonerated. This was, again, they made a smear against him.
But you get the point I'm making. Yeah. I think I deplore utterly the kind of racism and misogyny that Layla is facing online. Absolutely. I mean, some of the stuff I've seen when I dip in is absolutely horrific, and that's unfair. That's not how politics should be conducted. If you stand on a law and order ticket then you will be, any candidate standing on that ticket, left or right, will have their own background looked into, but it shouldn't affect their family. It should be on the policy and it should be on the manifesto, and that's what should be under scrutiny, not the private life.
But why don't you sue the Mirror for defamation?
Well, because number one, I don't have the inclination to waste my time. I'm solely focused on building a campaign to fight crime.
But if we think they're in a long-running smear campaign, it might make sense to take affirmative action like that early on.
Well, they've accused me of hypocrisy. That could be a personal opinion in terms of a legal opinion. I was in a photo with him. It's not actually for me to sue him. It's for the person who they're accusing of a dodgy past to sue them. They might think I'm hypocritical. That's a personal opinion. It's hard to defame someone.
But the earlier story, you could also accuse them of defamation in that as well.
But they never alleged that my mother's hotel was a migrant hotel. They trust me. They looked and they tried to find it, and there's absolutely no evidence.
Who
there never has
manages your
been.
mother's hotel?
The Mirror. So
No. Who manages your mother's hotel? She doesn't, because she's 92.
No, I mean she has a team that manages it. Obviously,
internal. It's not outsourced to a management team.
I mean, my mum's hotel is irrelevant here, right? I'm not going to sit and discuss who manages my mum's hotel. The point is that someone online alleged that my mum's hotel was a migrant hotel. It never was, never has been, and definitely is not now. It is a small budget B&B, and it is her business. And she's had it for many, many years. And my mum's 92. She feels that if she sells the business, she'll die. It keeps her going. It keeps her going. It gives her a purpose in life.
This is absolutely vile. Listen to the line of questioning here. They are harassing an elderly woman, Layla's 92-year-old mother, about her small bed and breakfast business, trying to conjure up some migrant hotel conspiracy where none exists. This is the tolerant left in action. They scream about compassion, but the moment a conservative woman steps into the arena, they go after her family, her elderly mother, her livelihood. And notice the deflection from the panellist Paul Richards, bringing up Angela Rayner. Give me a break. Angela Rayner's a sitting deputy leader of the opposition, facing legitimate questions about tax and housing law. Layla Cunningham is a private citizen stepping up to fix a broken city, and they're smearing her because her mum runs a B&B. It's a false equivalence designed to demoralise normal people from entering politics. They want to make the cost of entry so high, the invasion of privacy so total, that only the approved, sterile career politicians from the Westminster bubble dare to run. Layla is showing incredible restraint here, because if they came after my 92-year-old mother like that, this interview would have gone very differently.
Layla, how has this affected your family? Because, I strongly believe that your private life and your family should never be dragged into politics. It is so below the waist, such gutter politics.
Agreed.
How does your family feel about this?
So my siblings initially were very upset, and then they laugh at it. They're like, "Oh my God, is that all they've got?" My mum was upset. My mum was offended because she actually didn't know this side of politics. She never knew it existed. She's like, "Well, why are they doing this? What's the benefit?" And so for my mum, I'm upset, but she doesn't see all these headlines.
But Angela Rayner was dragged through for the nature of her relationship with a man. That was a private relationship. The media behaved badly towards politicians of any stripe. And there's lots of examples this year, last year, where people's private lives are being poured over and put all over the tabloids.
The Mail will be different. They'll have different targets. That's what middle-market tabloid news.
The Mail
and the Sun. Look at the Sun.
No, they won't write anything about you.
No.
But they'll write things about left-wing politicians.
Starmer's donkey farm or whatever.
If there is wrongdoing and it verges into your private life, then it's fair game, right? Because if you are running on a ticket of law and order, like Paul says, I like a high standard, and I want to run by a high standard, and I want the press to investigate. All I'm asking is, don't lie. That's it. Or don't write in innuendos. Just be straight. If you find something about me that is in the public interest, by all means, I'm more than happy to face the consequences of any actions I did, though I haven't. And if that's all you've got, then,
Well, Layla Cunningham, thank you so much for joining me, despite not knowing what was going to pop up on this Mirror front page here. I guess good timing in some respects, because it's given you an opportunity to respond directly to this front page here. Thank you so much for coming in this evening. Really appreciate it.
You have to hand it to Lila Cunningham. She didn't take the bait. She stayed laser focused on the fact that Londoners are scared to walk home at night, while the media is obsessed with gossip. This interview backfired on the smear merchants. Instead of looking like a scandal-plagued candidate, she looked like the only adult in the room, while the press looks like desperate bullies terrified that their grip on the narrative is slipping. This is why Reform UK is surging, because people are sick of the gutter politics and the double standards. So I've got to ask you, does seeing the media launch these personal, petty attacks on Reform candidates make you more likely to vote for them just to spite the establishment? Let me know in the comments.